Niners fans, it's about that time, 5 o'clock on a Sunday night. Faithful Niner Empire. What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, J in the Bay. It's always a pleasure and an honor to be on with the best fans in the NFL, the faithful, the Niner Empire. Always a pleasure and an honor. It's great to be on with you guys. As I said before, this is a interactive show. Make sure you guys leave your thoughts in the comments, as I love to say. And you know, I appreciate everyone who's watching J and the Bay Facebook, J and the Bay YouTube, J and the Bay Twitter. Appreciate that. And feel free to hit that thumbs up button on the stream and make sure you subscribe to Jay in the Bay on YouTube. Of course, I talk about all things 49ers. Today is a special show. I have a guest with me who also is a 49er content creator, and he talks about other things on his channel as well. I'm sure we'll get into that at some point in this show. He has about 315 subscribers on his YouTube channel. He also has about, I think, 67,000 views on his YouTube channel. He goes by the name of Platform 246. Let's bring on this gentleman to the show. What's good? How you doing tonight, man?
What's happening, Jay? Man, I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on. What's happening to the faithful? How's everybody tonight? Happy Sunday to you.
Hey, man, it's always good to talk about some 49er football, especially on a Sunday. We know that the 49ers had a putrid type of game against the Houston Texans. We're about,
Good word.
72 hours away from that game. I was really, I definitely overreacted, that's for sure, but that's part of being a fan. Fan is short for fanatic.
Right.
But I'm glad that it was just a preseason game and it wasn't a regular season game. But I have to introduce you to my crowd and also let them know where they can find you on all your social media platforms and let them know what they can expect from your YouTube channel, Platform 246, aka Lawrence. Let them know.
Well, thank you. Yes, Jay, first of all, is someone who is a big inspiration to me personally as a 49ers fan and as a content creator. I've been following him for quite a while and watched his rise and have, again, attempted to try to come along with the rest of us. And there are a lot of us faithful, as you know.
Yeah.
On my channel, you'll get a lot of Niner news, commentary, clips, live streams during the games. I'll be live streaming every game just about this season with myself and my sons. We also talk other things, as Jay said, a little bit of WWE wrestling, a little bit of pop culture. Really streamlining right now, though, to the 49 football because it's Niner gang, it don't bang. It's football time, and that's what's most important to me outside my children. So that is here on Platform 246 on YouTube, and you can also, of course, follow me on Twitter at BamBamLLD. So I appreciate all the support, and I appreciate getting a chance to chop it up with Faithful every day and just talk Niner football.
Hey, absolutely. And all of Lawrence's social media info is in the description of this video. IG, Twitter, YouTube. Make sure you check him out, follow him. And I gotta ask you something. Let's say you just got off work, you had a long day at work. You don't really want to watch 49er football. So what's your favorite thing to turn on? What's your favorite thing to watch on TV? And obviously, we're not talking about 49er football. What do you turn on to relax and unwind from a stressful work day?
Well, since it, unlike football, which is number one in my heart, football is life. But unlike football, there's something that never lets you down. It doesn't have an off season. It's on there for you every week, multiple times a week, folks. And that's formerly Vince McMahon's baby, the WWE. Wrestling. Wrestling fans since I was like maybe 4 years old. That is also what you can find on my channel. Some, like I said, kind of streamlining really for Niners right now. Now the season's back in full swing, but we do that. We cover that. We just, as I lie here on live, we just did a stream myself and my son an hour and a half ago in regards to wrestling. So wrestling is really what I turn on to relax, what I turn on to escape. really, just like you said, a long day of work, I turn that on to laugh and watch something that I know is not real, but it's a soap opera for men. So there you go.
Hey man, wrestling. Yeah, I used to really be into wrestling back when The Rock was on there. Stone
There you
Cold,
go.
Mankind, Undertaker,
There
all
you
of
go.
those greats. Shawn Michaels. Like, yeah, wrestling definitely was legit back then. That's for sure. But yeah, man, wrestling is still huge to this day. I've seen your channel when you've been on the wrestling live streams, and obviously I heard about the news about Vince McMahon. Talk about a legend going down. I mean, but but hey, man,
But
I mean,
yes,
they say, whatever you do in the dark comes to light, man. So
comes
hey,
to light, man, and it did in a big way for Mr. McMahon. So yeah,
yeah, but there's no doubt he's a pioneer in his sport. There's no doubt about that. So all respects to
good
Vince
point.
McMahon and what he did for the fans and bringing wrestling to like international, like everyone around the
Correct.
world watches wrestling. So
Correct.
yeah, but
It-
that's
it-
good.
it-
So people, if you guys are into
yeah,
wrestling, man, check out Platform 246, his
thank
YouTube channel. He's always posting things about wrestling and of course the 49ers. But as I said in the beginning of the show, this is an interactive show. I love to have the fans in the comments leaving their
100%.
thoughts. Gotta say, what's good? Sean Tuber, thanks for tuning in to the stream tonight, man. Hope all is well. We will get in to your questions as well about how can the 49ers fix the offensive line problems and time for game one. We definitely will get into that. Gotta say, what's good to Let's Get It GA. Hopefully you having an excellent Sunday. He says, what's good? Good luck to y'all this season. We got y'all on the schedule week 10, I believe, in the
Yep. We'll
A.
see you
And
there.
Let's Get It GA. Yeah, he is an Atlanta Falcons fan. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that matchup, man. Absolutely. Also got David McNew in the building. He's everywhere, and
What's up,
he
little
allowed
David?
us to come on to
Thank you.
my stream tonight. Thanks for coming into the stream, David. He says, "What's good, Jay and Lawrence? Cut Jimmy G, cut Jimmy G." That seems to be a reoccurring theme for the 49ers and the faithful this season, man. Let's get into
Golf
that.
clap. Golf clap.
Yeah. Let's get into that right now. That
Do
was
you
a
want to?
question
You
I
sure,
had.
sir? Are you sure?
Say it again. You said what?
I'm sorry. Are you sure you want to get into that?
Absolutely, man. Hey, let's talk
All right.
about it. Let's get this out the way right now.
There
So,
you go.
do you? It's not what you want to do or what the fans would want to do with Jimmy G. Do you think the 49ers will keep Jimmy G on the active roster? And we are about 48 hours? No, we're less than 48 hours
Yeah.
from the time. We're about probably 34 hours away from the
Something like
time that
that.
the Niners have to input their active roster, 53 players. I think they have to cut down like 25, 24 players. What are your thoughts? Do you think the Niners will keep Jimmy G on the active roster come Monday?
Well, Jay, as probably from us being friends or faithful interaction and stuff like that, my thoughts on James. So I actually did the research on not only the day, the hour, all that stuff, but it's 27 players specifically that we have to cut. Will he be one of them? I honestly couldn't come up with an answer. And when you phrase it the way you did, it makes it even more difficult because you say not what I would do or what I want, but what I think they're going to do. I think we've heard two sides. I think Jed, for whatever reason, has multiple times now said, including just a few days ago, we have no problem keeping James for next season. John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan start most of their conversations or answers to that question a little different, but end it with, but anything's possible. So if I had to guess what they're going to do, I would say no. I don't know if that's more with my mind or my heart that I'm speaking to you with, honestly, but I'm going to say that they will end up cutting Jimmy by this too. I've seen some people say that they're going to keep him on the roster till September 10th. I don't know what that means for money. Honestly, I didn't look that up because I don't want that to even be in my atmosphere. But I've seen it that out in the world, and I am hoping that's not the case. I don't see any good coming from it whatsoever, whether it's to the 10th or the whole season. That's just my opinion. And I think that Kyle and John think the same way.
Gotta say, what's good to the Remilia Sports Report. Thanks for tuning in today. Obviously, LA Rams fan, thanks for tuning in, man. Hopefully, you're having an excellent Sunday. You know, yeah, I've heard reports, like you said as well, that the 49ers could keep Jimmy on the active roster. And I apologize. The active roster deadline is Tuesday, I think at 1 p.m. Eastern, or it's 1 p.m. I think it's 1 p.m. Pacific time, Tuesday. So the Niners could, keep him on the roster, which I think would be a bad idea because, we're going to have to, I think we're going to have to keep some extra players on the roster in certain positions. Like you look at Jimmy Ward, the safety position, he's going to go on PUP, but I believe he still has to go on the active roster. So in theory, we're going to have to keep like 4 to 5 safeties on this roster. You look at this offensive line, maybe we could keep an extra offensive lineman. You look at maybe the 6th wide receiver on the 49ers, maybe we keep a 6th wide receiver. And if they keep Jimmy G on the roster, so that means we're going to have at least 3 quarterbacks on the active roster, Trey, Sudfeld, and Jimmy. I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think that makes much sense. So
I agree.
I'm preparing myself. That I won't be shocked if he's still on the roster. I won't be shocked. Now, if they keep him past September 10th, I'd be really shocked, unless there's a restructure and Jimmy says, hey, I'll be the backup or whatever. But he hasn't been involved with this team at all this offseason. He's been to camp, but he's not participated in camp. He's been on his own throwing program. We've seen him running at training camp, but he doesn't have a playbook. He's not really interacting with his teammates. So it would just be weird to kind of bring him back in to the quarterback room past September 10th. So, but the clock is ticking, John Lynch. The clock is definitely ticking on Jimmy G and the 49ers. Speaking of cut day, give me one player you think could make the roster that most people probably say won't make the roster, or vice versa? Do you have a player in mind?
Unfortunately, as crazy as it is to me because of where he was taken and when he was taken, I guess I would be going with the vice versa. It's Trey Sermon. No, it's not. It's not funny, Jay, because okay. If y'all don't know, Faithful and folks, I am an Ohio State Buckeye fan through and through. Buckeyes, screw the blue, okay, all that. So yes, when you come from Ohio State and you come to our team, you have my heart already. If your name is Nick Bosa, you have my heart and everybody else's heart that I know. Right. But still and yet, I was in love with our returner Ted Ginn all the way back to that. So if you come from Ohio State, I think it's great. And that's what now I preface that by saying he also went to Oklahoma. He started at Oklahoma. So maybe that's why he's not as good as I thought he was. But I think that Trey Sermon could be on the outs, and then in turn, maybe end up having a back make the team that wouldn't necessarily have made it before. Or, like you said, maybe a 6th wide receiver for Kyle. Someone like maybe Malik Turner making the team, but, getting most of his reps on special teams. He's done really well there. So I say those are probably the options that I would throw out there.
Or even a Quantrez Knight, who can play the safety, he can play a little corner, he can play on special teams as well. And we know we're going to have to keep 5 safeties on this active roster, and then Jimmy Ward will go on the PUP. But that could be an option as well. Gotta say, what's good to Romello Bell? Thanks for tuning in to the stream tonight, man. Like you said, long time no see, man. Thanks for tuning in. Hope all is well. And in regards to Trey Sermon, we know in everything in life there's politics involved. And if Trey Sermon was a 7th round pick, he wouldn't be on this team.
He'd have been gone 2 days ago.
Right. But we know. Yeah. But we have to sometimes we have to take the emotion out of things. We know he hasn't lived up to the 3rd round billing. We know that, right? He hasn't lived up to it just yet. But the 49ers, when teams draft players, it's not like they just pick a name out of the hat and just pick that player. There's intense scouting going on. So they've scouted him. I'm not sure why he doesn't fit the system, or if since he doesn't, why did the Niners draft him at the third round? But I think there's no way the Niners cut him. I just don't see the Niners really owning up to making a mistake at this point. We've seen this team, Joe Williams, he was drafted by Kyle Shanahan and Lynch. He ended up retiring, didn't really make an impact. This team has also drafted Jalen Hurd. He never played a regular season game, and he was on this team for, I believe, 3 years. I know Jalen Hurd and Trey Sermon's circumstances are different. Hurd, it was more the injuries, right? And with Sermon, he's just not effective on this offense. But now, speaking of Trey Sermon, look at his performance this past Thursday against the Texans. I mean, I think Jeff Wilson Jr. started the game. And I like what I saw from Jeff Wilson Jr. But Trey Sermon, I mean, he had 8 carries, 20 yards, a long run of 12 yards. I think he had like at least 2 third down conversions where he ran over a defender. So it was like his best game, right?
It was his coming out game. And
right.
I was saying during the game, he's running for his life, like Public Enemy. He was running like his contract and his NFL career were on the line. So, speaking of lines, ours was atrocious all throughout the game. However many depth charts we have that we put in, all of them sucked. So he, had that against him in that game as well. But I think that he looked the best as a back that he's looked for us since we had him, really since his first live play when he got his concussion, which was running that Texas route. You know what I mean? So, right? So, I believe it was a Texas route he ran. Or it could have been handoff for all I can remember. But I remember him going down in the middle of the field. So, other than that play, which was about 9 yards, I think, that day, this is the best I've seen him look since we drafted him.
And it's funny because it's the best he's looked, but I don't think it was good enough. I thought he looked best in shotgun runs, but you don't really do that too often. Maybe we should start doing it. If that helps Trey Sermon. Yeah. If the Niners want to justify keeping Sermon on the offense because he's good out of shotgun runs, I mean, I guess if that's what they have to do, but maybe use him in shotgun runs. They need to use him where he's most effective if you're going to keep him on the roster, right? Like, I think they should definitely do that. But, I think Trey Sermon will make the roster, and it's only because, or I would say a large part is because, he's a third round pick, and that's just life. There could be a better talent, better player, but sometimes there are other circumstances that go into that decision. So Sean Tuber says, I think either way, the team needs to perform at the end of the day, regardless if ownership decides to keep Jimmy G. Well, we'll see. We'll see. And we will talk about the offensive line. I know Ramilia says, can't believe they still have Jimmy on the roster. They could have cut him and paid and kept Tomlinson. Now, what do you think about that? Because I tend to lean on, hey, I trust Lynch and Shanahan. They know what they're doing. And they're making the best decisions for the team, right? Now, they kept Jimmy this whole offseason. Lincoln Tomlinson, I don't think he might have missed one start in the last 5 years of his tenure with the 49ers. And first of all, great trade by John Lynch to acquire Tomlinson. I think he was a former first-round pick from the Detroit Lions. So that was a hell of a trade. I believe we traded day 3 capital to acquire Tomlinson. And he damn near had a Pro Bowl season last year. And we know he was going to cash in on getting an extension. I don't think the Niners valued Tomlinson at whatever the salary he got from the Jets, obviously, and that's why he left. But this decision could come back to bite the 49ers by keeping Jimmy and allowing Tomlinson to go. And then the question I have for you is, what do you think about the 49ers decision to keep Jimmy and letting Tomlinson go? Obviously, hindsight's 2020, right? Obviously, we got rookies on the offensive line, especially on the interior. Do you think we should have kept Tomlinson? Are the 49ers kicking themselves right now?
Well, I am, if they're not. And it's really because I spend too much time now researching stuff for the Niners, for content, for coming on shows like yours or doing my own, just on the internet like a lot of us do. And what I saw yesterday was someone hit me with that somewhere on Twitter, where they said, it just really got to me. We could have franchise tagged Tomlinson. maybe for one season, the young Kings incoming season, just to get to make sure he's cool, and then boom, let him maybe walk next year. But
Right.
no. Uh, However, it may affect Jimmy or not. Same thing with Debo. Us saying Jimmy on the team prevented a lot of us, faithful thinking that, or in media, Jimmy on the team affected us signing Debo, when clearly it didn't. But I don't know how they exactly correlate, but I feel it's a little bit more probably, if at all, than the situation was with Debo. We having Jimmy on the team prevented us from not only signing him, but I guess they never put that rabbit out the hat anyway with the franchise tag, primarily our team. So I think that we missed an opportunity there to at least have the incumbent guard from last year, who was just about on the edge of being a Pro Bowler, here to help groom AB and even Burford, maybe, who we still could have drafted this year.
And I think we have to remember last year, our interior of our offensive line was Pro Bowl left guard Lincoln Tomlinson, center Alex Mack, and then right guard Daniel Brunskill. So we had pretty much veterans, in basically all three of those guys are veterans. And now we have two rookies. If we figure Banks is going to start at left guard, Burford's going to start at right guard, and then Brindle, which I don't think he has significant amount of snaps in regular season games, he's going to be starting at center. Really. So, I mean, what a transition for your basically rookie quarterback in Trey Lance. You go from a veteran, nearly Pro Bowl interior of your offensive line to now you have basically three inexperienced players, and they haven't really proved that they're NFL caliber starters. So that's a hell of a transition, and that's not a good thing. And you mentioned the franchise tag. I looked up the highest paid guards. Brandon Schroff of the Jacksonville Jaguars, he's making $16.5 million. I don't think there's any way the Niners would pay Lincoln Tomlinson top 5 of the guards. Yeah. Right now he's ranked top 6. He's 6 right now. Lincoln Tomlinson, he's making about $13 million from the Jets. Yeah, I just don't think the 49ers would pay that. No. $13 million for a guard, unfortunately. But hey, but that decision.
I'm sorry if I can say something that you said. For one, something that I heard a long time ago, before the world even got to where it is now, when I was a little younger. Trey is a rookie, at least to the players in the NFL, if what I heard is true. And what I heard is that players in the NFL believe that you have to play, I think, 20 games before they consider you no longer a rookie. So you have to finish out your first season and play like the first quarter of the next season, 4 games before the games with the 17. So, like, yes, you're correct, 100%. Like, he's basically a rookie. And we had an opportunity to have a line from center on last year where everybody was possibly a Pro Bowler. They can get in as an alternate, a Hall of Fame center, walk off the field, Hall of Fame left tackle, and we had no worries really on the left side of our line. Now, 4/5 of our line is a worry.
Yeah, it'll be a very, very interesting season, that's for sure. I mean, when you look back last year, the talent we had on the offensive line and just the amount of games played between those 5 guys, and now obviously we know the big silverback Trent Williams, he'll be there, and then McGlinchey, his status for week 1 is up in the air. So it'll be very, very interesting to see how this offensive line shakes out, who stays on the active roster, and who gets cut. Gotta say what's good to SF Niners Sports Nation. Thanks for tuning in.
Absolutely.
Also, we have Young Hitter in the building. What's good? Young Hitter says, what's up, Jay and the Bay? Hope you're having a wonderful, blessed day. Same to you. Appreciate you coming in today. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, Jay. So, McGlinchey, you mentioned McGlinchey and him being available shortly. What are your thoughts on McGlinchey when he is available? Is that really going to be his I guess that they say your best ability is availability?
Yeah.
Will that come true for him? Is it going to matter when McGlinchey? What do you think of Big Mike or Medium Mike?
Mike McGlinchey, double M. Man, I think he's a really good run blocker. And it's funny, we really don't talk about offensive linemen unless they're, committing a penalty or
Correct.
Unless they're allowing their opponent to get a sack over them. And I think McGlinchey, he could have, 40, 45 offensive snaps. and he could pass block 40, 42 great, right? Or pretty good. And then he gives up a sack when you least expect it, or you really need him to anchor and hold his opponent in front of him. And I think that's kind of like, yeah, he whiffs. But McGlinchey, he's coming into the last year of his contract. He wants to get that generational wealth. Football players, they love to excel in their contract year, man. They love to. So we should be able to get the best from McGlinchey. Yeah, exactly. Look at Debo. Exactly. We should be able to get the best from McGlinchey this year, but it's kind of out of his hands because his body is just, it's not where it needs to be right now. He's not healthy. He won't be practicing this week. It's basically a day-to-day situation with McGlinchey. Hopefully he'll be ready week 1 because his backup, what is that? I think it's Colton McKivitz. I think he's decent. He's solid. Like, we have to remember in 2019, we lost Joe Staley. We lost McGlinchey for multiple weeks during the year, and we were still able to get to a Super Bowl. So it's not impossible, but it's definitely not ideal. Yeah, it's definitely not ideal for us to, basically only have one vet on the line and then 4 inexperienced guys. Like, that's a terrible situation to put a rookie quarterback in. But we just got to hope. We just got to hope things will work themselves out. Romello Bell says they better get that Raiders Leatherwood guy. He seems like he can be a good player. Get rid of Jimmy. We don't need him. Yeah, I mean, the Leatherwood, I think he's talking about the guard that the Raiders drafted when Gruden was there, and I guess he's not meeting expectations. So, who knows the status with him. But the 49ers have worked out some offensive linemen. I heard they also worked out a tight end today, so they're continuing to try to, I guess, add talent to this roster. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. We did work out a guard, and then I was going to actually ask you, Jay. I apologize for interrupting, but we worked out John Miller today from Carolina, and then I think the tight end's name was Dalton Keene, I think, from the Patriots. But I really just wanted to ask you, what do you think is the potential starting lineup for us?
Starting lineup. For the best case scenario, I think obviously you had Trent at left tackle. At left guard, I think they're going to go with Banks, and part of that is, hey, he was a second round pick. The 49ers scouted him out, and he's got to perform. We at least have to see what he has, so I think he will be the starting left guard. At center right now, I think it's Jake Brendel. Brunskill's dealing with, I think, the hamstring injury. He hasn't practiced, so it's Brendel's job to lose. At right guard is Burford. He's been taking first team reps at that right guard spot. So I think he would be there at right guard, and then McGlinchey, if he's healthy, at right tackle. And obviously, especially with offensive linemen, the best offensive linemen usually are players who have played together for multiple games. They played multiple weeks together. This is basically a brand new offensive line that hasn't played together. So there's going to be some bumps in the road. That's for sure. And also you got Trey Lance under center. There's going to be bumps in the road. He's a rookie quarterback. So I think the best thing for this team is to run the ball, run the ball, control the clock, play great defense. It sucks that Jimmy Ward will be out for the first month, but I think that's this team's best option. My offensive line, is that who you had, or do you have someone else who could potentially be a starter on this offensive line?
I think that you have it, you hit it with the axe, you're digging for gold. You hit it perfect. Unless Jason Post somewhere slips in between left guard and maybe, I don't know if he's had enough reps there in training camp, but unless he steals a spot at guard, I think that you're 100% right. I was just hoping maybe Aaron Banks was not going to be in your list too. I just think that I don't see it when I look at him, whether it's on the field or if I just look at him speak or a picture. I just don't see it. But I think that he's going to be our starting left guard next to Trent, trying to get groomed.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's one of the benefits of playing next to Trent Williams for Banks. That's who he can lean on. He's got an all-pro Hall of Fame player next to him. That could only elevate his career. So that's what we hope. But Aaron Banks, hey, he's kind of like Trey Sermon. at least he's getting the first team reps. I don't know if it's necessarily earned or the 49ers like, hey man, we drafted you second overall. Lincoln Tomlinson is it's no longer here. We need you to step up. So I think he's been solid in preseason games. Is he great? No. Is he terrible? No. But hopefully we'll see a steady improvement. Just like we want Trey Lance. I know people want Trey Lance to come out the gate and be an MVP type caliber player, 300 plus yards, 4 touchdowns a game. Like that's probably not going to happen, right? So as long as we see Trey continue to steadily get better week to week, that's all we can really ask for. And I just have to stay off Twitter because man, it's a figurative war zone out there when it comes
to place.
Yeah, when it comes to Trey Lance and Jimmy G and all this stuff. So
it's bad.
Yeah. Absolutely. Hey man, let's get into some news that came out today regarding the 49ers. So for those that don't know,
I have some thoughts.
You got some thoughts? All right. So what are your thoughts about Debo?
My thoughts about Tyshawn are that for one, he's looking to, I understand the dad bod 100%. I think he's looking a little heavy. I think that he may be officially just showing us that he's going to always be injury prone. I think that maybe he might have a bag on his back that might be a little bit too heavy that he's carrying. A nice movie bag or something like that might be weighing him down this preseason and training camp. And now, he's running around and he messes up the back of his knee because maybe that bag is hitting him in the back of the leg. I don't know what's going on. But those are my thoughts. I'm not really happy, and I'm also not surprised.
Yeah, I think he had an interesting offseason. He was in a situation that he's never been in before. He had the opportunity to get generational wealth. I'm glad he got it. Everywhere it's sent, he deserves it. But he wasn't able to really. He showed on social media that he was working out and things like that. Yeah. But he doesn't really have a rapport yet with Trey Lance, and he doesn't have the same rapport that Brandon Ayuk has. That's for sure. But I think that will come, as the weeks in the season go on. I think the offense will get better, the offensive line will get better, and I think that's what we have to hope for. But for those that don't know, Deebo Samuel is out at practice this week. Unfortunately, he suffered what they're saying is a knee contusion, something with the back of his knee. But he's only supposed to be out 1 week, so that's the good thing. He's only supposed to be out 1 week. Let's talk about some great news. Elijah Mitchell and Charvarius Ward are back at practice. So that's great.
Yes, that's great. I think our top players coming up, if healthy this season, are is it Mooney? Is that what his nickname is? Charvarius. I'm watching the Kyle press conferences, or it's either Mooney or Mookie, and I'm like,
I haven't heard them call him that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who the hell is the cornerbacks? E-Man, they're all Mooney, Jimmy Ward, Mooney. I'm like, who the hell is Mooney? Today I see it on Twitter. Literally, it's Mooney. So Mooney Ward is back, yes, and then of course so is our presumed starting RB1 Elijah Mitchell. They both came back to practice today, so that was good to see. Absolutely.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Elijah Mitchell hasn't been active at camp due to the hamstring injury. So it's definitely good to see him work himself back into this running back rotation. I think Elijah Mitchell, he won't get 20, 25 carries. At least I hope not. Hopefully they ease him in to, the season and the games this year. And obviously it's always good to get back your best cornerback in Charvarius Ward on this 49ers roster and active, because I know we'll be without Jimmy Ward, but if we could have E-Man and Charvarius Ward healthy through 15, 16 games, I think that only put us in a position to win a lot of games this year. We did cut. Right? Say it again.
They both very, very sticky, Charvarius and E-Man. In training camp, from what we've heard,
Yes. So they've been shutting they've been making it very difficult for Trey Lance, to really move the ball downfield, and that's exactly what we want.
That's why relax, Faithful. It's our defense that's making it so difficult for him. Other quarterbacks in the past have struggled in camp as well. I'm gonna leave it there.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think this is the best secondary that Kyle Shanahan has had in his tenure with the 49ers. Yeah,
Absolutely.
so I'm glad. Gotta say, hot diggity dog. Appreciate you tuning in to the stream tonight, KD.
What's
Man,
up,
appreciate
Corey?
that donation to the channel. He says, hello, J intheBay and Platform 246. How are you guys doing? I hope you are having a wonderful weekend. Same to you, KD, man. Continue.
Good, Corey.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you tuning into the stream tonight, man. And you know, I don't want to put your business out there, but I'm just saying, hopefully you're doing well. And
100%.
you continue to do well. And hopefully, you know, hey man, hopefully you know, they take care of you. And you know,
yes,
let's just say this. My thoughts are for you, KD. That's what I'll say for that, man. My thoughts are for you. And if I could, you know, entertain you with talking about 49ers, man, that's always good to hear, man. Always good to hear. So appreciate you tuning in to the stream, KD. Also, hot diggity dog, Blue True. Appreciate that. Blue True says, missed his awesome what's good greeting from you, Jay. We subs love our individual greeting from you. Thanks, Jay. You the man. Good to see Platform 2462. What's good? What's good, Grandizer? Thanks for tuning in, man. I apologize if I didn't give you my greeting, man. I apologize about that. Let's go through these comments. Blue True also says, what about Purdy? Will he make the cut? What are your thoughts on Purdy, man? Are you impressed by what you've seen? Because depending upon who you ask, man, they say Purdy might be able to start week 1 for the Niners. Or some of them are really impressed by what Purdy has done on the field. Are you one of those guys who's really impressed by Purdy?
Let me take my glasses off so you can look into my eyes. It's very difficult to impress me. And I've heard the noise. I've read the noise. Okay, there's a reason why that, as nice as he may be, there's a reason why that man was the last pick of the NFL draft. There's a reason why that man played all 4 years of college at Iowa State, a run-first college. Why, you ask? Because he can't play. So, no, I do not believe Brock Purdy is better than Trey Lance, as some of you faithful have been saying for the last 3-4 weeks. And I honestly don't. I wanted him to make the team possibly so that we could have 2 people on the team under rookie contracts that have QB next to their name. But then I thought about it and I was like, nah, I don't care. We're not paying that. Clearly, Jed doesn't care too much about his money. So Sutton fell to his long guaranteed contract, and Trey will be just fine with me.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily buying into the Brock Purdy mania. I'll tell you this, though. He is exciting to watch. Like, he definitely looks comfortable. He's Nick Mullins.
Nick Mullins. He's throwing it all over the yard. Okay, all right, cool. It's all over the yard. But then, boom, that interception that's like deadly.
Yeah.
That's cool.
No, but he's definitely exciting to watch. He's exciting to watch. He throws the ball downfield. He looks comfortable under center. Some would say he's polished because he, as you mentioned, he played 4 years at Iowa State. He set a whole bunch of passing records. So, hey, he's an accomplished college quarterback, no doubt about that. But I don't think, like you said, there's a reason why he was Mr. Irrelevant. And maybe next year he could be the 49ers backup quarterback. But I don't think he'll make the 53-man active roster. I don't see that happening. But hey, we'll see what happens. I think as fans, we like to see when someone is productive in preseason, especially if it's someone who's on the roster bubble. Sometimes we think as fans, he's doing good in preseason. He's throwing the ball over the yard, or like Tanner Hudson. Hey, he led the Niners in receiving one day, but sometimes that doesn't matter. Sometimes it's what you do in practice. And I know, especially at the tight end position, Kyle Shanahan values run blocking over receiving. So that's why Tanner Hudson isn't on this squad. But hey, that's what that comes down to sometimes. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I don't think, though, I'd be shocked if the Niners kept 3 active quarterbacks on this roster. Yeah. John, what's good? He's got a Trey Sermon take for us. He says, Trey Sermon doesn't fit our run scheme for some reason. Hopefully he can show out if traded or cut to another team. Yeah, I just don't see what team would trade for him at this point, because he hasn't really, been good. Point blank, he hasn't been good. But if he doesn't fit our run scheme, I wonder why the Niners drafted him. I guess it's something we'll never know. Whatever they saw on film, we're not seeing it on the NFL level for whatever reason. So, well, here, Grandizer has a theory on this. He says, you know why the 49ers drafted Sermon in the third? Because he was the batch of running backs and Sermon was at the top of the list. It's why he thinks BPA is overrated, best player available, and overused, saying, yeah, well, we haven't really done a good job in drafting running backs on day one in the Shanahan era, but we strike gold on day 3 for whatever reason.
Right. I don't know why that is.
I don't know.
That's their MO.
We'll never know, Grandizer. You'll never know.
Yes. What do you
you'll never know, Grandizer. Let's see. We have CJ in the building. What's good? What's up, CJ? He says, what up, Jay and friends? Just showing support, dog. Appreciate you tuning in. Grandizer says Lions, Vikings, Giants will be looking for an upgrade at the backup quarterback position. Man, I just can't wait till we get closure on Jimmy G, and hopefully we get that, sooner than later. That's what we got to hope for.
I don't want to hear it anymore.
Let's talk about some positives from the game. We know the run defense was lackluster. We know that the offensive line, maybe they weren't inspired, or maybe the Texans were inspired and they, they had something to prove, and clearly the 49ers didn't. We know there are a bunch of penalties in this game. That was probably the most concerning thing are the penalties. Because that's something that's coaching right there. Either you're allowing it to happen, either you're allowing it to happen, or you're telling them, or you're coaching it. One of the two. So the penalties, definitely, that's something that has to be cleaned up. But what are some positive? Were there any players who stood out in this game versus the Texans who, hey, they get the game ball for that day? Any players come to mind for you?
Jordan Mason. Probably a lot of the faithful. He runs hard every time he gets the ball. There are moments where I think he looks like he could be either our best or maybe second best back if everyone's healthy. I have to see more of him on the pass blocking side of things and catching the ball too. But I think Jordan Mason looks like a strong runner and someone that I think the team is really trying to hide him to the last minute. And just not even show as much of the different things that they can do with him. And then on the other side of the ball, the young rook out of the 5th, the third, Mr. Samuel Womack. Ooh. He looks like a dog to me. He looks like I was calling him, Deion Sanders, messing around in the live stream before, because he has no fear. It seems like he got a PI in the end zone, and then came back in the end zone again. And pulled the Seahawks on us, batting the ball back to somebody else to intercept it. So I would say Mason and then Womack, maybe Mason more of a surprise since he was undrafted. And one of our best players came in Womack's round. So I don't want to put too much over the young boy's head, but I think he's going to be a star for us.
Absolutely. Talk about diamond in the rough. These are Samuel Womack's stats for the preseason. Look at these stats.
It could have been 100, Jay. His grade. Where's the 100 grade? When I saw that yesterday on Twitter, and I was like, I actually checked my Instagram. You're there. I saw my Instagram. I said this should be 100 grade, or I don't. Does it go to 100?
I think he did have a defensive pass interference.
Oh, okay. My apologies. There you go.
Yeah. but he's been exceptional. He's been exceptional, especially for a 5th round pick. We go from K'Wan Williams, who played that nickel slot corner, great tackler, great in run support. And he could also cover, that third best receiver on the opposing team. And then we get Samuel Womack, man. Look at this: 5 targets, no catches allowed, 2 interceptions. And he does that. He does have that 1 penalty. But yeah, it should be closer to 100. He hasn't allowed a catch, and he's got a 0 passer rating allowed. So, man, Samuel Womack, what a diamond in the rough player. The 49ers continue to excel on day 3 picks, especially in the 5th round. You know, we look at
That's our
Dre
round.
Greenlaw, we look at George Kittle. You know,
There you
they excelled in that 5th round, man. And yeah, Samuel Womack, what a gem for the 49ers. He's definitely been the standout in training camp and in preseason. I like what I saw from. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Charles Omonwehu and Samson. They're getting off the edge fast, powerful. They're able to attack the quarterback. I'm liking what I'm seeing there. Oren Burks, I thought he really flashed as well. He was just all around the field. Another linebacker, I think Makari Ball. He's been doing pretty well in preseason, but I don't think he'll make the active roster.
I think he may not make the team, but you know he does have a pick. He seemed really. I watched him get interviewed after that game. He was really, really just happy and prideful to be given the opportunity. But unfortunately, like you said, I don't think he'll probably make the team. But that just shows the abundance of talent and depth that Kyle and John have been building the entire time that we've been here. I think our roster, top to bottom, is really an A, no matter what anyone else says. So.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I'm trying to think of any other offensive players. I mean, I know Juwan Jennings made a few pretty good catches versus the Texans. Ross Dwelly. I've been down on Ross Dwelly, but
there you go. My man Dwelly came back.
Yeah.
Look, 82, the year I was born. Salute to Dwelly. On Twitter, they were asking who's going to be the backup, the tight end, you know, who's going to be tight. Dwelly was just hiding in the back with his arm. All right, y'all. We're just gonna wait till I get back on the field, and then I'll let y'all know who the backup tight end is. It's Dwelly. Dwelly was balling out, absolutely.
And he made that catch over the middle, took that hit. Said, "Hey, first down," and you know, I think they don't use Dwelly. I think Dwelly, he's a solid all around tight end.
Yes, Kyle doesn't throw him enough passes during the regular season.
They don't. For whatever reason, they don't feature him in the passing game. I don't know why either, man. We know he excels in blocking. I think it's going to be between. Well, how many tight ends do you think they'll keep on the active roster? But at the tight end position,
I couldn't go. It's probably him and Warner if I had to guess. So 3.
Yeah,
I would say 3. Jay.
Do you think it'll be? Do you think it'll be Kittle, Warner, and Dwelly, or do you think it'll be Kittle, Warner, and Tyler Kroft, or a different tight end?
We know that's a good question. He has an opportunity just because of who we have leading our team, how those two think. But if I had to go my gut, I would say Dwelly.
Hey, I appreciate that, Grandizer. Appreciate that.
100%.
I would say, I was down on Dwelly. I thought he would get cut. And who knows? Because preseason doesn't really matter when it comes to certain guys. Like, but we know Dwelly is a Shanahan guy. Like Dwelly, he's not going to really show off in the stat sheet, but he can block. When you throw him the ball, he'll catch it. He won't run from it. He won't run away from any defenders, but he'll catch it. And I think Shanahan is comfortable with him, kind of like how Shanahan was comfortable with Tom Compton last year. He filled in pretty well for McGlinchey. So I think, you know, Shanahan has his guys like Dante Johnson. You know, he's going to get cut, but we know
Dante Johnson will be starting at safety and nickelback before this season is over. Mark our words, or my words at least, Faithful. He's going to start at nickel cornerback before the season's over.
we know because so here's what the cut down is. It's we have all this talent, we can't keep it. Now, which player can the Niners cut who's least likely to get picked up, right? Know, hey, Dante Johnson most likely won't get picked up, so we can cut him, bring him back in a few days, say, hey, we'll cut you. Don't sign with another team. We'll pay you extra $100,000, you know? So I think that's what it is with Dante Johnson and some of these other guys. So, you know, and also the practice squad, I believe, is up to 16 players. So
it's 16. Yes,
good.
Sir.
It's good to get guys into camp, see what they're all about. And hey, we can't keep you on the team, but hey, if we need you and you're available, we know what you're about and we can bring you back on the squad. That's what unfortunately that's what it's all about, because you can only keep 53 guys. So
a low number. I think the number should be higher, but that also is 100% Kyle and John. We know that, like you said, Kyle has his guys. Every year he may add one or two, or maybe one leaves off the team, whatever. But his Tom Comptons, his Dante Johnsons, that are going to get cut 8 times and re-signed 9 times.
Absolutely. We got Riddy in the building. What's good? Appreciate you joining the stream. If you guys are enjoying the stream, feel free to hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe.
Please.
Also check out Platform 246. Absolutely. Check out Platform 246. All his social media links are in the description of this video. IG, Twitter, YouTube. Make sure you check him out. Speaking of positives, I know it all depends who you ask. Sometimes people say Trey Lance, I'm concerned. But what do you think? What do you think of his 21 snaps? What did you think? Did you like what you saw? Did you thought he wasn't too good? What did you see from Trey Lance's 21 snaps against the Texans?
I'm biased. I'll say that now. I'm a Pisces faithful, folks. I'm emotional as it is. Okay, so and especially about the Niners. So I take everything to the extreme often enough. So I tried to be, though, objective for him in the preseason. And instead of saying, oh, he was great, or saying, oh, he sucked, I wanted to see more. But I did see a stat that came out where people just put together his preseason versus our previous quarterbacks preseason last year. And his numbers pretty much blew his out of the water in 3 games versus 2 games, no interceptions and 1 touchdown versus an interception and no touchdowns, more yards, same amount of completions, more average yards per pass. I think he did just fine. I think just if you're not sure what my thoughts are on Trey, Jays fans, faithful period, my folks, anyone, Trey's going to be a superstar. It's just the clock is ticking. Okay. And I believe we're going to get small glimpses of it this year. I don't think it'll be this year, but he's going to be Mr. M and Mr. A from both Buffalo and Kansas City 2.0, in my opinion. And it's going to start very, very, very soon. And I think that he showed flashes of it behind a horrendous offensive line all preseason long, all camp long, really. And just today in practice, 50 yards on a rope, a little wobbly, but in practice to some coach catching the pass from him, like he was waking up. It was just a flick of his arm and it was down the field. And that's what I saw out of Trey in his 21 snaps. The potential. I saw what I'm going to see in the future, and I'm very happy with it.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go out the studio and come back in. I'm getting a lot of feedback on my end. Give me 1 second, okay?
Jay will be right back with us, folks. Hopefully you all feel the same if you're still watching me. We are going to not only kick butt this year, but Trey is going to be the leader of that.
Sorry about that. That's much better. For some reason, I was getting a bunch of feedback on my end. But in regards to Trey Lance, I mean, I saw 21 snaps. I liked what I saw. I like what he does when he rolls out. He's able to allow his receivers to get an extra step or extra second to get open. I like that. Yeah, his ability to move around in the pocket is something that Jimmy, he can move around in the pocket, but he's not a threat on the run, obviously. So I like what I saw from Trey. I thought he was pretty accurate, especially when dealing with the lack of blocking from his offensive line. That pass he threw to Kittle, was that, hey, Kittle, you got to catch that, man. You're a professional player in the NFL. It hits your hands. You got to catch it. Or, it could have been a better pass from Trey. What do you think?
And I have 2 questions for you about passes. I'm glad you brought that up. Absolutely.
Hey, cool.
I think it could have been a better pass. I'm gonna try to start to be harder on him because I sat on the couch at 12 years old and watched Steve Young make every pass in the world, every pass possible, all over the yard, to not only just an outstanding receiver, obviously, but John Taylor, to Brent Jones. I know it's possible. So to put it on somebody, and especially in this offense. So I think it could have been a better pass. I'll just say that. But I also think George may have a little bit of alligator arm right now, whether it be in his mind or his heart when it comes to Trey. I think that he has a subconscious block right now. Hopefully he gets over it. But I'm saying that faithful. I think he has a block because of James. All right. I think that if one player is the biggest proponent of not having Trey turn into the quarterback and leader of this team, it's him, because he caught everything around the line of scrimmage, and now the ball might be flying over his head a lot to other players. So, but with that, my question to you about Trey's passes, those other two passes that were kind of big or scrutinized on Twitter, the one to Ayuk that he threw when he was on the run, what are your thoughts on that? It turns out it was not tipped at all if you got a chance to see that pass. And then the one to Debo. Do you think Debo could have, fought more for the pass, or it looked like it was a little bit underthrown? But if you go to, number 12 out there in Wisconsin, he underthrows most balls specifically and on purpose. They worked that out. So did Tyshawn not fight through enough for that pass? Should a PI have been called? Or was that, again, a pass that was just a little bit off the marks by Trey?
For the Ayuk throw, it looked like it was tipped by a defender. I saw
the second today. I apologize. I saw a second view, like a back view today,
and it wasn't tipped
on Twitter. It looks, from this view, you don't see anyone tip it,
right?
But what the person tries to make as the point is, he's rolling. The person was actually trying to big up Trey. He's rolling to his right. You don't see Ayuk in the frame during the start of this individual video. And then Ayuk comes in, and it looks as though maybe Trey was throwing the ball away. Making a good decision, just throwing the ball to the ground. There were probably 3 to 4, in a box, in different amounts of yards away from BA, Texas, if I'm not mistaken. So it looks like going to his right, Ayuk coming back to his left, he just threw it in the ground. I could be wrong. It could have been tipped. But anyway, could you see him ever being able to have made that pass? Ayuk is coming back towards his left shoulder. He's running to his right. That is what.
But basically, he's throwing across his body. That's what
he's throwing across his body, but also back to the left instead of across his body, some to the right. So, and Ayuk coming, would have even been able to make that pass even if he had a better lane?
Well, they always say you should never throw across your body. Like you should, if you're rolling out to your right, it's usually not a good idea to throw to your left, right? That's usually not a good idea. But I think Trey, he definitely has the arm strength to pull that off. And if the receiver catches it, everyone's going to say, "Oh, what a great play!"
Right.
As far as the Debo play, I think it was a bang play. I think the corner was right on Debo's hip. He had good coverage on Debo. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that called a penalty. I'm in favor of letting the guys play. Just let them play. Only call a penalty if it's obvious. Like if someone's grabbing someone by the face mask, or putting them in a headlock or something. Just only do it if it's completely obvious. Otherwise, just let the guys play. But I think Debo, that's not really his strength. I don't think he's necessarily a deep threat. Can he run every other route in the route tree? Can he run a post? Can he run a fade? I think he can do those things. He can run slants, but I don't think he's going to be running many, deep routes, like, just a streak. He's not Danny Gray now. So, I don't think that's the thing. That's people's strength.
Today, I saw just that. People, and actually, I listened to a radio station out, and I'm jealous of you. I always have been. You can just probably catch a bus and walk to the stadium. But I do search on the internet and get the radio 95.7. I think the names are Bonte and
Shasky. Yeah,
I listen to them on. I stream their channel, right? So they were talking about that specifically, and it rang true to me that Debo, maybe he could have given a little bit more effort on that play, but as they were saying that, what started coming to me was maybe that bag is weighing him down and he wasn't able to separate. You know what I mean? That guy, like you said, was perfect. The guy was right in the tip. Why was he right in his hip? That bag on his back is weighing him down. I'm telling you, Faithful.
I mean, honestly, I don't know who that corner was, but
I don't know either. But did you see on Instagram? I apologize. I
saw
guess
that. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
He shared it, and Debo got pissed off about that apparently.
Debo hey, some of the Texans players, well, specifically that corner, he put something up on his social media saying, "Oh, basically boasting about that play."
Yeah.
I mean, but that tells you the mentality of the Houston Texans. They're not a very good team. They're playing hard for their new head coach in Lovie Smith. And hey, they're going to lay it all out on the line. And that's exactly what they did Thursday night against us. And the 49ers really had nothing to play for. I mean,
common sense, folks, there. They played.
I think that's what that came down to.
Just like last year, Trey Lance won a playoff game for us last year. The faithful will never say that, one, because it's not in the box score as such. But against the Texans, had we lost that game, we never would have went to Green Bay or LA or any of that. And then the Texans, having been a horrible team for multiple years now, played that game like it was their Super Bowl. And they had a much better defense than a lot of the faithful or any NFL fans really knew. And it carried over to this year and that defensive line that they have and the pressure that they were able to get against us. They're a better team than their record, and they play us very, very hard. They did the same thing last year and was a de facto playoff game, in my opinion.
No, yeah, absolutely. And I think I can't wait till we see what else we get from Trey Lance. This is his team now. And man, we have all the pieces around him for him to be successful. And I think there will be some bumps in the road, but I can't wait to see. Yeah, it's only expected. Anyone starting a new job, you can't compare yourself to an 8-year vet, right? It's just, but that's what it's going to be on Twitter all year. That's what it's going to be all year on Twitter. Not looking forward to that, but that is this fan base. Yeah. We have PO in the building. What's good? He says, good discussion, except the alternative to Purdy is Sudfeld. He says, what's he got that Purdy doesn't? I think he means, honestly, Purdy will likely get cut and signed to practice squad, then maybe get claimed. What's your response to that?
I got the answer for you.
Okay.
About 3 or 4 inches in height and about 2, 3, 4 inches years in experience.
Right. Yeah, and there's a reason. So when players get cut, especially when they have less than 4 years of experience in the NFL, they go through the waiver wire. So what that means is the worst teams have the chance to claim that player first. So whoever had the worst record last year, who was that? I don't know who it is, but Jacksonville or Houston, whatever, whichever team had the worst record in the NFL, they have first dibs at to claim players. So if for another team to claim Brock Purdy, they would have to obviously put in a waiver claim for Brock Purdy, and then they would basically have to put him on the active roster. So I don't see any team doing that for a 7th round pick. I just don't see it. But there's no doubt Brock Purdy, I think he has a future in the NFL. I don't know about as a legit franchise quarterback, but he's definitely exciting out there. That's for sure. He's more exciting than Sudfeld. Yeah, but it's not about necessarily exciting. It's about who can execute the offense the best. And Shanahan believes that Sudfeld, can do that. So
the offense the best. Nick Mullins just went for big capital or whatever, or big news, big enough to hit my radar with the Raiders, right? So yes, he's exciting. He'll probably have a job in the NFL for the next, 8 to 10 years. And salute to maybe with us, as our official backup quarterback, and then we can go through the faithful chair, call it for him to be the starter every time Trey throws a pick for the next 10 years. But outside of that, he won't be getting too much playing time for us, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think if no one claims him after he gets cut,
yes, David,
we'll put on the practice squad. That's for sure.
He may be our practice squad quarterback, right?
Exactly, because I think we'll only keep 2 quarterbacks on the active roster. I don't think we'll keep 3 because we have other positions, as I said earlier in the show, that will definitely could use an extra player. Gotta say, what's good to Niner Sickness? Thanks for tuning in to the stream tonight. We also have DDC in the building. What's good? Hope you had a great weekend as well, man. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Man, the hour has gone by really fast, man. I appreciate you tuning in, or excuse me, I appreciate you joining me on the stream tonight, man. It's always a blast to have you on. I love our back and forth, man. I like that. And yes, for the people that are seeing you for the first time, let them know where they can find you on all your social media platforms, man. Let them know.
Thank you so much, Jay, again for the seat. Faithful, it's going to be an amazing season. Just calm down. Continue to follow Jay, or you can even follow me and follow me as well here on Platform 246 here on YouTube. If you enjoy what Jay and I have done today or any of my content, I first appreciate it and then ask you to subscribe. I want to get a chance to hang out with the Faithful all year long. I'm going to be streaming every football game that we have live here. So, maybe some of them I can have, interaction with Jay as well. But also, you can follow me on Twitter at BamBamLOD. But you see my tag, my name, what I work for here on YouTube, Platform 246 right here. Please subscribe. And thank you, Jay, again for the seat, man. You are an excellent content creator, an excellent Niner fan, and definitely an inspiration to me. So thank you, brother.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. I got one more question for you.
Please.
What is now going into week 1? We're about 13 days away.
Yep.
What is your biggest question mark you have about this team going forward? After you've seen 3 preseason games, we've seen training camp. What position is of biggest concern to you going into week 1?
The nasties, man, the dirties. Where things get tough, the trenches, the offensive line, nasty and not like Nasty Nate, like I've nicknamed him. Nasty in the trenches. I think that our offensive line can possibly be a detriment to us this year. I think that having Trey and just watching him look like Kyler sometimes or Russell Wilson sometimes if the line is bad. Watching him in his third game really, quote unquote, running for his life, looking like Justin Fields and stuff like that. He was really, doing what we are as football fans, not just Niner fans, but when they say the quarterback's running for his life, it was that this past game. So that really, really scared me. If I had to guess, 60% of the line that was in that game is going to be starting, or maybe 4 of the players. Maybe it's just McGlinchey. I can't,
McGlinchey was the only McGlinchey and Trent were the only non-starters.
Okay, so McGlinchey and Trent were the only non-starters in the game from what we saw, and that pressure was coming up the gut. It wasn't just coming from the edge. It was coming up the gut. So as soon as he got the ball, he didn't have time to process anything. And he has to process still. His mind, as smart as he is, and as advanced I think he is, he's not there yet. He still needs a second. And he didn't have a second pretty much each time that he dropped back to pass. And he still went 11 for 14 or whatever for 140 yards and no interceptions. The only quarterback that did not throw an interception in that game, to just throw that in there. But my biggest concern, sir, is the offensive line, 100%.
Absolutely. I got to say, what's good to Scott Hill. Thanks for tuning in. Also, what's good to Libby's World and Kimmy as well. What's good? Appreciate all you guys tuning into the stream tonight. My biggest concern, obviously, is Trey Lance. Hey, he's got no experience.
Not a gang, you don't bang, Trey.
He's got no experience. Basically, he's going to start his first full season. Hopefully, say the safety position. That's what I'm going to say. We know Talanoa Hufanga. He's the penciled in, or maybe you could put it in ink, that he's going to be the starter opposite of Jimmy Ward. But there's no Jimmy Ward for the first month. And I think we won't need Jimmy Ward against Chicago. But Seattle has DK, Lockett. Then we have to play Denver and then the Rams.
And then LA.
We know Jimmy Ward plays his best games against the Rams, man.
He can't wait to play. He's pissed as I don't know what that he can't play in one of those games this year. He is.
So the safety position definitely concerns me. Opposite of Hufanga, I think it's either going to be Tavarius Moore, George Odom, or maybe Tashawn Gibson, and he didn't really have a great first impression the game against the Texans. So
Kyle sounded iffy on him.
Yeah, we'll see. It's almost like he has to make the roster because
Yeah, I think he does, sir. Yep.
unless Quantrez Hawkins, maybe if he makes it, but then you got a lot of inexperience back there. And that's the thing about Jimmy Ward. He's the captain of the defense, one of the longest tenured 49ers on this roster. And he has a lot of game experience, played in a lot of big games. So I think the 49ers will definitely miss Jimmy Ward the first 4 games of this season. And so for you got the O-line, and that's definitely a concern. Hopefully the running game, if we have an effective running game, it'll alleviate some of that. But I think the safety position is definitely going to be it could definitely be stressed. That's for sure. In the next 3 out of 4 games. So
I think you're actually right. Because we have one thing that I believe other teams don't have, and that's a man named Kyle Shanahan. So I think that he will scheme for the offensive line until they get on track. And then, of course, we have the run game. We have Trey's ability to run and whatnot. I think that you're probably right. The biggest question mark for us as we kick off that first kickoff that hopefully is us kicking off. Fred Warner is like outstanding with that, by the way. Calling for the kickoffs and receivers. So hopefully we kick off this season and they get out on the field and get tested, but are able to overcome that, because I think that really is truthfully the biggest test for us, especially with who we start with. Starting with Russell, starting with DK and Tyler, and then of course with the Rams. The first game, even though Justin Fields threw 3 touchdowns and all that yesterday, don't let that cloud your judgment, folks. That was a mirage. Don't worry about that. Because a lot of people, we're in trouble now. No, it's not as by 13. So in first game, but after that, without Jimmy Ward, we might be in trouble.
I could definitely see that happening. The Chicago game, I think, could be a warm up game for us. I think it could be close in the beginning. But because this is game 1 for every NFL team. It's not like this is December and players are already making vacation plans. Like, this is game 1. Like, they put their shoulder pads on the same way the 49ers do.
Absolutely.
And you still got to go out there and compete. Because we saw what happens when you don't compete Thursday against the Texans. That's what happens when you don't compete. So
you get embarrassed.
Man, great show, Lawrence, Platform 246. Pleasure to have you on. Looking forward to our next collab, man. You have a great rest of your night, man. Appreciate you for coming on.
Salute to you. Salute to the faithful. Thank you for having me, brother. Always enjoy having a chair with you. Like I said, one of my favorite 49er content creators. So keep up the great work, and it's been a pleasure.
Appreciate
man. Thank
that.
you so much.
Appreciate that, man. You have a good rest of your night. All right.
Be safe.
Same to you. All right. That was Lawrence, Platform 246. Make sure you check him out on all his social media platforms. IG, Twitter, YouTube. All the social media links are in the description of this video. Gotta say what's good to Renee. Thanks for tuning in to the stream tonight. Scott Hill says, good, bro. I'm very blessed. Thanks. Hey, appreciate that. Thanks for tuning in. Huge shout out to everyone who tuned in tonight on the stream. Shout out also to KD and Blue True for the super chats. Those are much, much appreciated. John has some breaking news for us. He says that Trent Williams ranks as the number 14th best player as far as the 100 best players in the NFL. And he also said Deebo Samuel was number 19, which is very fitting. But I will have a live stream tomorrow night. And that's where we're going to be talking more about the 49ers 53-man active roster. Who do we think will make the active roster? And I will have the Niner Gang podcast on with me tomorrow night. Thumbnail will be coming out shortly. But hey, huge shout out to everyone that was in the stream tonight. And appreciate the lively chat. Always a good thing to have a lively chat. But everyone have a great rest of your Sunday night. And hey, we're only 13 days away from week 1 against the Chicago Bears. Can't wait. Everyone have a great rest of your night. Go Niners.